Hello, Zelda Universe. Welcome back to another exciting interview. I am Alex, also known as Trainer Trevino. I am here with a wonderful guest. She's been on the channel before. You know her, you love her. It's Patricia Summersett. Hi, Patricia.
Hi, Alex.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Great. Thank you, and welcome back. We're already off to a good start. So we are here today to talk with you about your role as Princess Zelda in Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. So I guess the first thing to ask you right off the bat is, how does it feel to be Zelda once again?
Oh, amazing. It's funny to suddenly sort of be back into something fresh and new after, I guess the other one released, it was what, like 3.5 years ago? Was that?
Almost 4 years since Hyrule Warriors. Almost 4 years since Breath of the Wild came out. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been an endlessly large part of my existence in the last years, and this is just like it's like a new injection of much more of the same thing, but the level of appreciation grows with it as it evolves. Because, I mean, let's face it, it's amazing. Every time you do, it's amazing, and you do get new layers of appreciation with like a different game, a different kind of lore, reuniting with cast and people in general, which right now is a really big deal when you get to do that at all. So yeah, massive appreciation in 2020 to be doing something like this.
Absolutely, for sure. And also, just as a heads up for everybody watching, this is going to be a spoiler-free interview, so we're not going to be talking about much of the game that happens late, so that way we won't talk about things that are big surprises. But we may hint at something for fun if you already know what it is. Hint. So Patricia, I know a lot of us are asking, are curious about asking, what was it like when you heard that there was going to be a prequel to Breath of the Wild known as Age of Calamity?
Well, I didn't find out about it until pretty quickly before recording. As those things go, those things are held very secretly for a very good reason, obviously. I was pretty shocked because I was sort of in the process and sort of trying to figure out what was going on, and then it was kind of revealed that this was something a bit different than maybe what I expected. And I mean, I'm just like, yay! Get to reprise a role in any way is a massive joy. So, party. Yes, I don't know. Party, and like, whew, all right, get ready for some new iteration that's gonna take all of your energy and heart right now. And you wait, and then you're like, all right, jump, let's do this. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. So basically because of this game, the Breath of the Wild game is pretty much going to be a trilogy now, so we're going to get a lot more Breath of the Wild Zelda and more to come.
Yes, which of course I can't speak to at all, and I don't know anything about what's coming at all, truly 100%, but I will say that, and I think the entire cast feels this way. I feel like I can speak for the entire cast when I say, especially the ones that are coming back, which is pretty much everybody. But everybody was like, "Wow, I got to go back into this world and do this again, regardless of what happens in the future, regardless of what the next thing is." Such is life. You just like to have the chance. It's not even what it's not the sequel. It's this random, beautiful gift that you get that's so much, not random, of course, but we all got the experience to go back into the world and do it again, and everybody's just like, awesome, man. Yeah. 3.5 years later.
Yeah. So, with Age of Calamity, there's actually 2 new directors on this game. That's Chris Vaea and Jeremy Hall. How was your experience working with them like?
Wicked. Really great. Yeah. I can never, not that I would, but I can't complain about any of these amazing directors. They get hired for a reason. They're experienced, they're wonderful to work with, and they come recommended, and they come in and they just they offer a new injection. It was interesting. Yeah. This time we were sort of talking about a little bit in the room. We were talking about, because this is a different style game and she's more of a sudden, like, she's really a warrior for Zelda specifically. Like, what are we going to do to sort of amp up the sort of girth in her as the story evolves? And so we talked about it as like Zelda 2.0. Like, so you're like, this is Zelda 2.0. This is Zelda, and this is Zelda 2.0, which ended up being a bit of a sort of short language as we were making certain sort of intensity choices with stuff. But yeah, just wonderful. Obviously,
that's great.
Yeah, hands down, always with Nintendo, it's always like a family kind of like really well sort of massaged experience when you're doing it, and everybody's in it. They're like ready to go. So
that's awesome. That's really exciting. I guess as a follow-up, like, were there significant things you took from learning from both Chris or Jeremy, or I guess like any memorable things you recall from being directed by them?
That's a good. Well, interestingly enough, the Zelda 2.0 thing was one of those things. Just in that it was a really clear indication that we're working from what we've already built, and then where do you bring it next? Because you don't repeat what you're doing. You evolve with any process. You always do in any process of performance. So there was a sort of new freedom to kind of try things out a little bit differently and sort of restretch the parameters of what we've been working with. I always learn from directors when I work with them. They all, and it's so admirable, but they have immense patience with the technology that you're using. And it's never just a direct, you're batting ideas off of the sound engineer, the writers. It's not just two people in a room or remote or whatever it is that you're doing. There's usually 4 or 5 people chiming in, and then more on top of that who've put, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into the process of writing the thing that you're then just giving offerings to bring it to life. So there has to be a kind of like a deep ability to communicate with everybody, but also make strong decisions. And I'm always amazed when directors can do that, and so admiring of that skill, because it's hard. It's hard in the moment sometimes. I don't know. They were just so awesome.
Awesome. That's great. As you said before, like, there's a lot more to Zelda in this game because she plays a much bigger role. She is a playable character. She's fighting now. How does it feel to voice battle cry style lines and recordings?
Really liberating. Really good. No, it was something like, there was something about her character previously that felt not hiding in herself, but she has a certain sort of way of being. And then this one, and again, it's a different style of game as well, but you just break out. And it's funny to record lines that are kind of sped up as well, because they have to be repeated over and over again. And that's something that has to be considered about how that's going to be shaped. And man, yeah, I mean, Zelda as a warrior, who doesn't want to do Zelda as a warrior? Like, it's awesome, of course. Been waiting for that. Woohoo, Yeah.
That's great to hear. With that, are there any favorite moments or favorite lines you enjoyed recording in Age of Calamity?
Ooh, man, what a rush! Because there were a lot of them, and it was a big scope of lines, and I'd probably be spoiling if I said there are definitely some moments, some like cutscene moments that are my favorites. That I was like, ooh, I get to dip into this, like, awesome, but I can't really say what they are yet.
Yeah.
Not until way later when there are no spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
But I really do love that she sort of evolves as a kind of warrior figure. And it's so cool to see everybody fighting. That's like, you feel like the major camaraderie in this, the fact that everybody gets to fight, and it's like you can use the different characters. Like, I think everybody's just like, wow, like feeling pretty amped up about this direction.
Yeah. It's a very fun game for sure. Just having everybody involved is so much fun.
I will say, Alex, whenever there's an opportunity to use a sense of humor in some of the lines, or like to get to play with those things, there are a few moments, I think you probably know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that I found extremely funny to do. And we had some really good laughs in the studio as they were happening. Funny enough, I actually haven't seen what the final, what takes were chosen and stuff for that. But boy, we had some really, really good laughs. And which, because these things are made under pressure a lot of time, like there's a lot of there's time constraints, and there's people are just pouring immense amount of energy into this to try and figure out how to finesse and make all the things web together, how the translations and the dubs are going to go. And so when you do get these moments of levity, they're really memorable and wonderful. So yeah, there are a couple moments like that, and I can't say what they are, so yeah.
That's great. But of course, if you play the game already, like if you're watching, if you already play the game, you may know what we're talking about. Wink. With that said, because you had the wonderful opportunity to reprise Zelda, what were some of the things that you enjoyed most about that, and what were some like the strengths, improvements that you felt when revisiting? You know that saying, revisiting old
stomping grounds. Is that what
old stomping grounds.
Oh, I know the phrase, Alex. There, some inside joke here. Yeah, stomping around with your pants on in Hyrule, awesome. There are so many things that have evolved naturally. I mean, this is now close to 4 years later that this is coming out, and we didn't know what we were doing the first time around, and you still don't know what you're doing entirely this time round, but you have a much better idea. So you bring with you the experiences of the layers that you've had, and still try to make it fresh and new. I did enjoy going back into the voice because there was a way to sort of come to it fresh, and I felt with a bit more girth because of what this particular game allows for as well. That felt very refreshing, and also like a new challenge. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I took from it exactly. I mean, I took so much from it. I was just so amazed to be in my life back doing this role again, because it's just such a huge gift. And I'm like, yay, I get to be injected back into this community and this, especially right now when there's no traveling anymore, you're just like, wow, it still exists. All of those things. Yeah, and in some ways, so many parallels to the game and this sort of exploration and the journey that these characters take through the game in a much less life or death way, let's say, as it goes.
Absolutely. For sure.
Yeah.
With that said, and as an actor, how does it feel to have been included in a game series like this? I'm on top of Breath of the Wild, coming back and doing more of this. How does it feel to have voice acting be included in such a big, well-known franchise, and have that momentum keep going?
Well, it's extraordinary because you don't know until that sort of thing occurs whether or not it will. It's all new, regardless of whether or not it feels like there is no repeat, really. It's only just a new layer, a new layer and a new layer. And so this one very much speaks to that. So this voice acting on top of the voice acting that we've done, you're like, wow, am I really so lucky to be able to do this again, to reunite with a cast, to go back into something that with so much love, to re-examine it. Yeah, it's magical. I don't know what to say about it. It just is. And anybody who loves these games agrees with that magic. We all adhere to that same world. We make it come to life, and so it's real. The fact that a voice gets to be part of that my voice gets to be part of that world in this sort of omnipresent, large way. Yeah, man, I'm like, in a way, I'm a needle in a haystack in terms of the way that this game is created, and yet I've got this wonderful, ridiculous, humbling thing that I get to do while the game. Yeah, it's it's exciting.
I feel the same way. In light of that, do you feel that the voice acting just helps establish a stronger connection to the characters?
I think that probably. I mean, right? I'm biased because I am a voice actor. And I think it totally depends on one's opinion, because probably some people feel it doesn't, and other people feel that it's the best thing in the world. I've heard all of those opinions. I've definitely heard a lot of the opinion of that it does help a lot, and that it offers something new and fresh. And as Nintendo continues to evolve with their games and try new things, that bringing sort of character dialogue to these things was a massive change for Breath of the Wild. So that, the fact that it continues in this really seems fitting, really. It'd be almost strange if they went back to dialogueless written word text and a few emotes.
Especially when you already have the voice actors, you may as well bring them back.
And they're so passionate. They're just like, please, yay!
Oh, that's so fun. So, as a little fun little question to ask, the little new Egg Guardian little character in the game, the Egg Guardian. It doesn't really have a name. Patricia, what would you call this adorable Egg Guardian?
Oh, I feel like it has a name, but what would I call the Egg Guardian? Okay, so I feel like that's a really good question. I saw some really great ones online, which I feel like I should steal. Eggwardo, I really enjoyed that. BB Egg was a good one. You can't go wrong with BB Egg. Yeah, and I just thought of another one that I was like, it's almost Christmas season. Eggnoggin. That's
Oh
what I'm
my
liking it right
gosh.
now. I'm liking eggnog, and it's got a little ring.
That's too much. It's very appropriate for this time. Wonderful. Actually, I have one last question for you, and I think we'll wrap it up there.
Absolutely not. Just kidding.
Oh my goodness. Every time. For people who are playing the game right now, or just about to get into it, or have it already finished, all that kind of stuff, what's something that you would say to people playing the game and everything? Like as a general like hello type of response and greeting to people, I guess, in the Zelda community. Like, do you have anything to say to people amongst the community?
Oh man, welcome back. Like I would probably just squee and then give a bunch of people hugs is really what and then we would all run off into the green grass, roll around and pick some apples and eat them.
And
then
frogs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I try not to eat the frogs.
Oh no,
I stay away from frog eating these days. So.
Wonderful. That's a very wholesome answer. I respect and admire that. Well, okay then. Well, Patricia, we thank you so much for being here with us today. It's just so great to have you back.
My pleasure, Alex. Me too. It's so great to be back.
And hopefully soon you'll be able to play Age of Calamity yourself.
I know. Yeah, right. I get that thing or download it.
Before we wrap up, Patricia, where can people find you?
Oh, so I can be very much found. That's not true. I can be very much found on Instagram and Twitter, my sort of main places, and I do react and respond and keep my friends on there and community, and we all have a good old time. So that's at @Summersett_.
Cool. Awesome. Things. Yeah, and we will link all of those in the description down below for y'all to go follow Patricia and go say hey. Give her a big hug.
A
virtual
big breathy hug. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Well, all right. Well, again, thank you, Patricia, for being here with us today, and we will see you next time. And everybody else, you have a good time. Enjoy Age of Calamity. Have a good one.
Enjoy the game, guys. It's going to be awesome if you haven't already, I'm sure.
And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys.
Over here. I don't know which angle I'm at.
Which side is going to be on? Yeah.
Yeah, but there she is.